What's going on, everybody? It's your boy C-Zar, and we are talking about OnyxCoin today, XCN USD. Hit that like button, subscribe if you want to see more content like this, and let's get into it. Unfortunately, my friends, the triple bottom theory has opted out. I mean, we could find support here, we could move up from here, sure, but it's not. I wouldn't say like maybe it's a triple bottom. Maybe I don't think so. At this point, I don't think so. I mean, we look at it on a 4-hour time frame, kind of, but not really. I don't know. Regardless, it is still completely possible that even though we have these lower lows here, that we could find support, that we could move up from here. And the fact that we've actually, quote unquote, broken out of this range and moved lower with very minimal volume, right? And XCN USD, Coinbase is the biggest exchange. Right? Binance delisted its perps trading, so Binance isn't on it. They got the premium there for whatever reason still, but it's not on Binance anymore. Coinbase is the biggest exchange, and the biggest exchange in the world that lists OnyxCoin as far as volume goes did not really have that much volume on this drop. So we're in very low volume, low liquid environments. That's why volume has an easy time moving the price up and down. But again, I'm assuming that there's probably not going to be too much more to the downside of this. We could go, we're at 0.0447 right now. We could go below 0.04, and it's important to accept that as a possibility. But we're going to look at the short-term stuff, and we'll zoom back out and look at all this stuff as it goes. I'm just kind of curious, you know, using fibs the way that I normally do, from a low to a high. From here, I think it would be more acceptable or expectable to move down to about 0.0414 to 0.0361, somewhere in this zone, than it would be to bounce from right here. But let's look at the 1-hour stuff and see. OnyxCoin can be a little bit screwy sometimes, especially with its fibs, and that fib range in itself is not the most significant fib. It's just the most relative one. But looking at the 1-hour time frame here, zooming in, we have moved down with tremendously low volume. There's a lot of volume. There's a large spike here at the low, but I wouldn't say that that's bearish. And I say large spike. It's large for these candles, not really large at all though, right? Pales in comparison to some of these other candles we've seen. I mean, you guys, we're 1 hour away from being back up here and beyond. You know what I mean? 1 hour, that's all it would take. Hopefully, it doesn't get back like it has really since April. But anyways, 1 hour time frame here. The RSI rejected the same areas that it's been rejecting. We have lower highs, lower lows. Not a good sign. The RSI is abysmal. Very volatile, but now bearish. And it makes sense now. We're moving down. Stochastics overbought, coming down to the 50. This is actually a good area to bounce. The RSI could bounce here too, but I don't like the RSI. Stochastics makes me think that we're going to go lower. The RSI makes me think that we're going to go lower. We could find support here, but statistically speaking, probably not. The MACD is also bearish. Yeah, yes it is. Why is it bearish? Well, the oscillators are below the zero. You've rejected the zero twice now. You're building bullish momentum from here to here. You've actually got more momentum here, and you're at a lower price. Higher highs with lower highs is hidden bearish divergence. Higher highs in the stochastics with lower highs in the price, hidden bearish divergence. So 1 hour time frame sucks. 4 hour time frame also is in trouble, but there's a little bit of a light at the end of this tunnel, isn't there? We have a downtrend here in the RSI, very notable downtrend, lower lows, lower highs, right throughout this. You can see it, plain as day. We'll probably come down and form a higher low in the RSI while getting a lower low in the price. It's bullish divergence. We're probably going to form that here a little bit lower. We might not even go below 0.04, but something around there nonetheless. Stochastics would likely form bullish divergence, and the MACD too would as well form bullish divergence. And you actually already have some bullish divergence. You would just further this divergence if you go lower. So there is bullish divergence on the MACD. Technically, there is bullish divergence on the stochastics as well. We're looking to form bullish divergence on the RSI and then further this divergence on the stochastics and the MACD. The 4 hour is getting set up for a massive reversal. When I say massive reversal, I mean like we could, you know, move up here, move up there, something bigger than what the average candle looks like. But maybe it's not bigger than these candles. Maybe it is. I don't know. But it looks like we're getting shaped up for a reversal. It is Thursday, so we have, you know, Friday, and then the weekend is upon us. We'll probably consolidate over the weekend, and maybe next week, Christmas week, we'll start to move up. Would be the idea there. Daily time frame here. Looking at this. The daily RSI, unfortunately, my friends, with yesterday's close, has broken out of its uptrend. And that is bearish. This we were counting on you, man. We were counting on this to hold. And it did not hold. Yesterday's close got us down here. We still do technically have higher lows, but it's never good. It's never a good thing to break out of your uptrends before you get into the overbought zone. That's what you do in historically bearish scenarios, right? Even here, this uptrend, it at least got to the overbought zone, but even there, that didn't save us. But at least that wasn't as bearish as like what we're experiencing now. So just be prepared. It is completely possible that we could go below 0.004, but I don't think that we'll be. I don't think that we'll be at these levels here or lower, like anything below this level. I don't think that we will be here for too long. By the end of the year, we'll be back above these lows. Going into the new year, we should be expanding. It's unfortunate. I was kind of hoping we get an end of year rally up to this 1 cent area, but again, we still have all the good things going for us on the long term scale, right? XCN BTC. We look at the weekly time frame here, and while you are dropping, you are still from a low to a high in your golden ratio zone. We're right here in the golden ratio zone. While you are dropping, you are still at prior areas of resistance here, here, and here, finding potentially support at these levels. From a low here to a high there, you might just be reaching for this golden ratio, golden extension right there, and that's fine. Hit your 1414, rejected the 1272, you typically do, go to the golden ratio and look for support there, and then we'll move up. Golden ratio support to golden ratio resistance, maybe something like that could happen. And beyond all of that, we have, I guess at this moment, we don't have bullish divergence on the RSI anymore. There's 3 days, 7 hours left. Let's see if this week closes here, if it does pull back higher. The stochastics do not have bullish divergence anymore. And the MACD still does have bullish divergence. And the MACD, the weekly MACD is the one thing that we got excited about. We've been getting excited about. So that's, at least we still have that. But unfortunately, the RSI and the stochastics don't look like they're going to give us bullish divergence unless we get some kind of reversal in the next 3 days and 7 hours, which I just don't see happening. But there's still a lot going on. Even without these, this is still a very beautiful sign. Trust me when I tell you, this is a very beautiful sign. There's going to be a massive, massive pullback because of this. Finding support at prior resistance, finding support at the golden ratio zone, all good things. We are still very oversold. We're the most oversold that we've been in a very long time. There will be some upside from this, and I do imagine that when we get our upside, it's not just going to be a lower high. It's going to be a breakout of what is a very long trend, and we'll likely return back to some type of standard retracement, which from here, from a high to a low, assuming that we go lower, let's actually put that golden ratio on there, because I think from a low to a high here, I really do think we're just so close. We're probably going to go right to this golden ratio. And in hindsight, maybe that was more of an expected target. Should have been more of an expected target. Let's see. Yeah, we delete that. If you were to retrace and we were to go lower to that golden ratio zone, likely from the current price, OnyxCoin would gain anything from about 120% to roughly 300% versus Bitcoin. Reflected in the US dollar price, that should give us more than 120% pump, maybe like 150% pump, which still takes us above 1 cent to maybe something that's even above 300%. We could see something that literally rallies all the way up near, if not even above, or just below 2 cents. The rally, the pump, it's coming. We've been saying this for a long time, right? And it's unfortunate how low and how tenacious this movement's been. Again, if OnyxCoin was moving down and Bitcoin was moving up, the rest of crypto was moving up, we'd be having a different conversation, okay? But I'm still confident that the reason why we're seeing so much selling off is because we did so much pumping and because the market also is weak right now. But here we are, right here. We've actually, because we've seen lower lows, we've actually interacted with prior areas of resistance here. Now we're not just above this level, we've actually interacted with it. We're very, very close now, you guys. From a low to a high here, right at the golden ratio zone where before we just missed it, which can be bullish. That typically is a bullish sign, but we rejected the 0.5 coming down to the golden ratio. Now, we're going to find support somewhere in this area, but I don't think that it'll be prolonged. I don't think that it'll be a long-lived endeavor, and even if it is between now and the end of the year that we're down in these areas, I would expect January does promote this massive pop to the upside, which should bring some life back. We get that life, people have a chance to load up before the next move happens that takes us above these highs, probably sometime in, I would think, February, March, or April, probably March or April, that we are above these highs here, but we'll see. Hit the like button, subscribe. Thank you all for being here. It could be earlier, but time will tell. Take care of yourselves. I'll see you on the next one. Bye-bye.